Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Kingdom Death Simulator. If this is your first time here, hello. I am Simodian. Hello, Lantis. Thank you very much for joining tonight. And before we get started, as always, we have our usual content warning. If this is your first time here, Kingdom Death Monster is a very mature game. It has a lot of adult imagery, as you can see here, including uh, depictions of violence, body horror, gore, as well as descriptions of mental trauma. So please be aware of that, and first and foremost, take care of yourselves. Also, welcome aboard. This is our fifth session of this campaign. We are running the People of the Lantern campaign. It's the starter campaign for the game. And if you would like to catch up, all VODs are available over on the YouTube channel. Additionally, just putting everything out there to start. One, this is a very complex game. There are a lot of rules to pay attention to, especially when you're playing solo. I'm in control of 4 characters, as well as the enemies. It can be a lot of cognitive overload. I will do my best to remember the rules at any point, but sometimes things are going to get left behind. We're just going to do our best going forward. Beyond that, I've also made some tweaks on the audio side, so hopefully the audio levels will be a little louder. If there's any issues with that, please let me know. So when we left off last time, let's go ahead and switch on over to that. We had the Armored Strangers story event, where the Kingsmen came to our settlement to judge us. Found we were doing a little too well for their likings, and essentially went to destroy some nice things. We tried our best using some re-rolls to get a good result. Didn't quite work out, so we are going to resist the Kingsmen at this point. Resist means we are starting a special showdown. First time we've done that, where we're not going on a hunt, we're not advancing the calendar, we just have an extra fight that we're doing. And that extra fight is against... Oh no! I pressed the wrong button. I gotta get my rulebook back. Where's my rulebook? There it is. Sorry about that. Game is a little fiddly at times. Alright, right back into it. So, for the Kingsman himself. Alright, this guy is a bit, I'd say a bit tough. He's a bit tough when you're fighting him normally. I'm fighting him well earlier than I'm supposed to be. So, essentially, if we somehow win this fight, it'll be a miracle. I'm not expecting to win this fight, but we will certainly try our best. Notably, he has 12 toughness. So far, the hardest monster we fought has been at 10 toughness. So this is going to make it much harder to get those wounds in. And in addition to that, he has 13 wounds. So dealing damage is going to be a little hard to come by, but we're going to do our best. Notably, since we are defending, again, Nemesis encounter, we are going to get to go first. So, who is up? We are bringing 4 absolutely unremarkable people. Again, we're expecting to lose this fight, so it is what it is. Yeah, here, let me... There we go. How about blood token on a lion? Does that work for you? So, coming along with us, we have David. David is going to be using the bone daggers. So David's actually going to be doing some pretty good damage. If I'm remembering correctly, the Kingsman has a bit of a weakness to daggers. Big suit of armor, you can kind of get the daggers into the gaps. That's hopefully what I'm going for here. We also have Maximilian, who will be in our primary tanking gear with the counterweighted axe. We're also bringing along Samantha with the archery loadout. And finally, we have Anita, also with our secondary tank loadout. We are notably not bringing the spear with us. Last year we had the heat wave event, which means if we depart with heavy gear, unfortunately, we're going to lose all of our survival, and, well, we don't have a whole lot of survival to spare right now anyway. We're going to need every point of it. So he's just using the bone axe. I'm sorry, she's just using the bone axe for right now. Not the best weapon, but it's the best weapon we've got without going to have any penalties on it. As for the Kingsman himself, let's take a look at some of his abilities here. Starting off with, I believe we already looked at all of his basic stats. Nothing else of note here. Whoopsie. So this basic action, this is something we haven't seen before. So he has this ability where he's going to cleave everybody in front of him. So this gives us an idea of what to do with tactics. Don't want to be standing around in front of him or all clumped together. Beyond that, he has the weak spot trait. So he has -4 toughness if you're in his blind spot. Theoretically very cool, but as I just said, we don't want to be stacking people up. So we're only going to have one person in the blind spot at any time. Also has King's Combat. At the start of his turn, he's going to perform a basic action. So we know at the start of every turn, this is going to happen. We have the King's Aura trait. At the start of the monster's turn, and whenever the hit location deck is shuffled, place 3 battle pressure hit location cards on top of the hit location deck. So these cards are always going to be at the top of the deck. Kind of not like the Butcher. So the Butcher, every time, like every turn, you were reshuffling the deck. If we're dealing actual wounds, the regular hit locations will continue to be discarded. Just these will go back on top afterwards. And then finally, outfighting. So the Kingsman has Reach 2, which, much like our Spear, means he can attack for an extra space away. But he also has the additional rule that when he moves to target or moves towards target to attack, he will stop at that one extra space of range. Or if he's already adjacent to his target, that means he will take a step back. So something we're going to have to consider here, right? So theoretically, if we have somebody in the blind spot, right, we do not also want somebody in front, because we know at the end of the turn, the first thing he's going to do is target his blind spot, which means he will turn this way and then take a step back, and that will be bad for this person here. So we're going to have to be very careful with positioning and making sure that we're not causing situations like this. Other than that, you know, should be a piece of cake, right? So let's kick this disaster off. We also had a special piece of terrain here with the Survivor Corpse, which is going to be very nice. So starting the fight, I already gave everybody their departing bonuses. We will have some arrival bonuses, so both Max and Anita will gain an additional survival and insanity from the Stone Noses. They are both already maxed out on survival, but 1 insanity for both of them will be helpful. So for this first turn, we're going to have Max activate this terrain card. See what he can get out of it. With a 5 plus 2 insanity, -1 basic resource. That basic resource is only going to matter if we somehow survive the fight. But we'll go through with it anyway. And we get a Broken Lantern. Of course we do. And then Max will just move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likely being the first target for the attack. And then from there, we can't really do much else attacking-wise. We will have... Whoops. We will have Anita use her Rawhide Headband, which allows us to look at the top 2 cards of the AI deck and choose which one we want. So we will have either Force Thrust, which means he's going to attack in a line in front of him, or another Cleave. So... probably Force Thrust is the better option of the two. Just because the other one has Headhunter, and that's not fun. So we'll see what we can do there. So also with all of the way this guy attacks, I'm going to try to remember to use my dash actions this time around, because that's going to be important for positioning people properly. So we know... So once Max gets attacked, he's going to like get thrown off to the side. So we want to make sure Anita is next in range there. And just move the other two so that they're not going to be in danger. I think this is fine. And probably there? Or no, he should be okay there. So I think that's going to be okay, but we'll find out. Do not have much experience with the Kingsman. So trying to... Oh, we also have this. This will be important at some point. So start off with the Kingsman's turn. Of course, as we said, King's Combat does his basic action to start with. So basic action, Survivor in the blind spot. Nobody's in the blind spot, so closest threat, which will be Maximilian. So he will full move to make this attack, but again, he will always stop 1 space away, and then he will do a sweep. So we kind of have to think about this the other way. No, that's right. We're looking this way. So he's going to go from his right to his left. So starting here and sweeping all the way to here, which will only target Maximilian. So speed 3, accuracy 3. Maximilian currently should have, I believe, 3 evasion, correct? So he will need 6s to hit. That is 2 hits, of course. And 3 damage. This guy hits like a truck. So that's going to be 3 damage, both to the legs. Okay, well, Maximilian's going to dodge 1 of those. That would be bad. Let's see if he gets his survival back from the Rawhide set. He does not. And then he's going to take 3 damage to his legs, which already puts him at... Oh, that's the wrong person. Which already puts him at a light wound for the legs. And after damage, bash and knock back 5 in the direction of the arrows. So he will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get knocked down. That was the first half of the monster's turn. Now we get this, which we already knew which one this was. The Force Thrust, closest threat in field of view in range. So that's going to be either David or Anita. Anita has armor. We will choose her. So again, he'll stop 1 space away. And this time he's going to go in a line directly in front of him. So same thing. We'll hit on 6s. 1 hit. And then Anita's just going to dodge that hit. So we'll see if she gets her survival back. She does. Cool. Or sorry, not... Yeah, that was Anita. I keep... All new characters, I gotta remember who everybody's name is. So, start of turn. I think the smartest thing to do is Anita will encourage Maximilian to stand back up. And she will get that survivor back as well. So we have to remember, spent her dodge, spent her courage. Maximilian has also spent his dodge. He will get back up. So I don't think we can... 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, we can't get anybody into the blind spot just yet. But first and foremost, we got to pull these battle pressures off. So that's going to start with Samantha using her bow. So bow hits on 7s. And again, these are all entirely unremarkable characters, so no extra stats beyond what their gear gives them. So 2 speed hitting on 7s. 1 hit, so we get our first battle pressure. And I'm going to leave these over here so I remember to put them back on top. So battle pressure. This hit is canceled. If the survivor is adjacent to the monster, they may king step. She is not adjacent. That's fine. Just wanted to kind of clear one of those off. Now we will have Anita step up. And she will swing. So she has the counterweighted axe, which is an upgrade. We do not have this red turned on just yet. Oh, but she also has reach. I forgot this has reach. But we kind of do want her to be adjacent so we can do some of this king step stuff. So for now, we'll keep her in range. So she will be hitting on 6s. That is 2 hits. One of those is a perfect hit, but nothing comes of it. So she draws 2 battle pressures. So this hit is canceled. If the survivor is adjacent, they may king step. So what is king step? Gorgeous artwork. Resist the unspoken pressure of the monster's onslaught. Your body trembles and your mind wavers. You struggle just to stay standing against the pressure projected by the monster. Discard all unresolved hit locations, end your attack, and attempt to overcome. So overcome, roll 1d10, +1 for each tempo token you have. Currently, we have no tempo tokens. So let's see what we get. 2, doesn't seem great. The monster swiftly finds an opening in your poor footwork and mercilessly slams your shin. Suffer a random severe leg injury and gain 1 tempo token. All right. A 1. Blood geyser. Blood shoots from your femoral artery at an alarming rate, killing you in seconds. Normally, this is where we would use a reroll. However, I used up all 4 of their rerolls trying to avoid this fight in the first place. However, Anita does have a dried acanthus, so when she suffers a severe injury, she will ignore it. So archive that. And also, I got these 2 mixed up again. Should be this way. But she does get a tempo token. I gotta fish something out for those. We'll use the frenzy tokens for now. So we will give her 1 tempo token. And since that canceled all the other hits, we don't do the second battle pressure. But battle pressure is off, and we can start going in. So again, keeping in mind the positioning that we need here, we're going to make sure that David stays here. So that way when the Kingsman steps back and sweeps, he's still going to be out of range. And David has some daggers. So speed 3 hitting on 7s. One moment here. Sorry, had something in chat to deal with and rolled 3 complete misses. Cool. Uh, let's see what Maximilian can do. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So with the sad little bone axe, I mean, not too much difference between the two. This has 1 extra strength. It also has the reach. Also, unfortunately, can't quite get the savage turned on either. But hitting on 6s. 2 hits. Cool. All right, so we have 1 with first strike. So the axe blade. If the attacker is wearing any heavy gear, they suddenly feel their knees buckle and are knocked down. Also, I got these two, I swear, I keep mixing them up. I can't do it. I think it's because normally my male tank is on the bottom, and my female tank is up at the top. So I just got to remember that. Sorry. If the attacker is wearing any heavy gear, they suddenly feel their knees buckle and are knocked down. So none of this stuff is heavy. Rawhide is not heavy. Not heavy, not heavy, not heavy. So don't have to worry about that. Return any discarded battle pressure cards to the top of the hit location deck. So I believe that is... I believe this goes together. Going to rule as that, so that it's not that these are 2 separate effects. I think it's that this happens together. I think so. So let's see what we can do here. So he has 3 strength on the axe, naturally 1 strength, so not super great. So that is 4 with a toughness of 12, so looking for an 8 to wound. No wound. So we had to do that one first because it has first strike. Next up we have the Regal Collar. You see, again, here's where you want the daggers happening. If you hit with a dagger, gain +3 strength. Not happening. Death Blow. If the Kingsman is killed at this location, that ain't gonna happen right now. So looking for that same 8. Close, but not quite. So a lot of players in this situation would honestly just skip the fight and declare the 4 survivors dead. And that might be something we explore in the future. But since this is our first time on stream interacting with the Kingsman, wanted to play it out. But that is everybody's action. So back around to the Kingsman. Again, we'll use his basic action. So he will take a step back and sweep in front of him. Start of the monster's turn. Everybody gets their tokens back. So again, 3 speed hitting on 6s for Anita. 2 hits. Cool. So that's 3 damage each. To the legs and the hands. I don't think it's worth dodging. So we're just going to take that. So that's a light wound on both. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and knocked down. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get this cleave off. So closest threat in field of view in range, that's going to be either David or Maximilian. Maximilian's where... Oh, I messed up. Shoot. I didn't think about this scenario. So the Kingsman is going to step back and bash into David. So David's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he will also be knocked down. Positioning is so super important on this fight, and I wasn't thinking it. Really would have liked to have had the spear. Definitely going to have to make use of the reach on the counter-weighted axe. And again, we're going to do the sweep thing. Again, hitting on 6s. 1 hit, that's good. And David's just going to dodge that, or Maximilian's going to dodge that. And he will not get that survival back. And I'm actually going to remind myself nothing has really changed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of retcon a bit and have David use his dash action. Spend a survival for that. And instead of getting knocked over, he's just going to make sure that he took an extra step back so that he didn't get bowled over by the Kingsman. All right. Yeah. Definitely don't want to take that damage to the head. Yep, so we're good to go there. That is the end of his turn. So battle pressure will go back on top. And I think the move here is just David's already in the blind spot. Let him go to work. That means he will be the target of the next attack, but it is what it is. So he will be hitting on 6 in the blind spot. 2 hits, so that is 2 battle pressures. So he will king step as well. Bookmarks are a thing. Apparently they were glitchy at one point and were not quite working. Been told they will be coming back to the sim, but for now, just got to keep doing it this way. That is a 5. Monster easily predicts your motion and skewers you with your own momentum. Spend 1 survival or suffer a random severe bodily injury. Gain 1 tempo token. We'll spend a survival. That sounds like something that we want to do. And he will also get that tempo token. So next up, again, keeping positioning in mind, we'll let Max do his thing. Let's try and get this last battle pressure off. We do get a hit, so Max will also king step. With a 10. Nice. Oh, that's so nice. You grasp the pattern behind the monster's fine movements, a rhythm that lets you control the pace of the fight. You have overcome the battle pressure and learned something valuable. Gain the King's Step secret fighting art. Oh, Max. Too bad you're going to die. King's Step. There it is. Go ahead and put that on a sheet. So what does that mean? Whenever you attack, you may discard any number of battle pressure hit locations drawn and draw an equal number of new hit locations. Whenever you attack after drawing hit locations but before rolling to wound, you may choose 1 hit location drawn and discard it to draw a new hit location. Traps will cancel these effects. So this is really cool. So this top part is going to be very helpful for this fight, assuming we can survive it. But I believe this bottom part is always active in any fight, not just this one. So we'll see how that goes. We will also have Maximilian encourage to get Anita up. He will not get the survival back. That's unfortunate. Gonna have to start being a little more judicious with those encourages. Anita can't really do much, but she will move 1, 2, 3, 4. Just trying to think again about positioning. I think she'll stop there. And she will headband. So we've got axe. Oof, that's bad. And we've got trip. That's less bad. So, oh, I should have done it the other way around. Should have let Samantha go first. Samantha theoretically could wound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, she is in range. I think the smart thing to do is to not shoot with Samantha now. She will Cat Eye Circlet, though, since the battle pressures are off. So I get to reveal the next 3 hit location cards and put them back in any order. So this gives us some nice scouting, potentially to see if there's a trap in our future. There isn't. Another one of these. That seems pretty bad. Although that would be really cool if Maximilian can get it. And an impervious. Okay, so yeah, I think we're going to do it that way. We're going to put this one there, this one there, and this one there, and hope that Max can kind of get to that. All right. That's the end of our turn. Around, do I want to move Samantha? I think she's going to be okay there. Yep. So we'll do basic action again. So he's going to beat the crap out of poor David here. David, these are going to hit on 4s. 2 hits. Okay. So he's going to take 3 damage each to the hands and the body. That's not great. He'll dodge the body. But that's definitely going to be a heavy wound on the hands and a severe injury on the hands. So first of all, he's knocked down. And we got to come back here. All right, rolling on the arms. A 9, not bad. Dislocated shoulder. Pop, you cannot activate 2-handed or paired weapons or use block until showdown ends. Gain 1 bleeding token. That's fine. He's not doing any of that stuff. 1 bleeding token, though. Oh, also, everybody flips their stuff back. All right, and then next up the trip. Oh, I did not read that properly. I was just looking at this part. I didn't look at the target. So furthest threat in range is going to be Samantha. Ugh. Okay. So I'll say he's going to go this way, and we'll have Anita take a step back with a dash. See if she gets that's Max again. See if she gets her survival back. She does not. And then we have a clear path to Samantha. So here's the thing. Do we want to have Samantha dash to get out of range? Kingsman has a movement of 5. So the farthest he can get, 1, 2, 3, 4. The farthest he can get is there. So this is where we could do a thing where he'll pick the target. So we can pick the target to be Samantha. And then this little thing here means we can activate survival actions. So I will definitely do that. And then just have Samantha step back as far as she can. She will spend a survival to do that. That is her dash. So now when he does the move to attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he just whiffs. All right. That was okay. That's that. So his turn is done. Back around. Back around to us. Put those. I don't know why I need to flip those over. We know what they are. So first thing. Do we just have Max go to town? I think we do. Max, get in there, bud. So in the blind spot, he's hitting on 5s. Really need some hits here. 1 hit. Okay, this will work. So he draws a battle pressure. King step. Whenever you attack, discard any number of battle pressure hit locations drawn and draw an equal number of new hit locations. So does that only happen? No, I think he just cycles through because it doesn't say once per attack. So I think he just kind of sucks these off, phrasing, and pulls the next one, which is the Regal Greaves. So this does have a reflex on it, but it's okay. We can certainly deal with that. Let's just do a wound. So remember, when we are in his blind spot, is that on this card? It's not on his card. It's in here somewhere. There it is. -4 toughness. So he's only toughness 8. So we only need a 4 to wound this. Cool. So now he's going to turn to face Maximilian and then step back 2. If he has King Step, he can follow. So he will do that just to kind of make sure he stays in position. Oh, goodness. Come on. There we go. Boo. Okay. I think then let's have Anita. Does Anita have enough? Yeah, Anita has enough survival to encourage David. Or do we just leave David down? I think we just leave David down. Need to save our survival for surviving. But Anita can move here and attack. So she is hitting on 6s. 1 hit. We already know what it is. It is the Regal Knees. Again, she does not have any heavy gear either. And she is wounding on a 7. Not happening. So yeah, Kingsman is nearly impossible at our current progression level. But we'll see what we can do. Next thing, Samantha just needs to get out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might as well have her cat's eye circlet again. So we got an impervious. We got another reflex. And a nice dagger one. Okay. So I think the plan is to go this way. We can't get David into... Well, we'll see what happens. And then back around to his turn. Flippies. And then again, he will step back and swoosh against Max. Hitting on 6s. 3 misses. Finally. Goodness. And then next we have Axe. Closest threat in field of view in range, that's going to be Anita. So he's going to do this move. Again, Anita's the only target. And again, hitting on 6s. Wow. That's bad. Okay. So that's 3 damage each to the body, and the waist. She'll dodge one of those bodies. Um, she will not get her survival back. And then she'll take 3 to the body and 3 to the waist. Light wounds abound. She will also suffer bash, bleed 2, and knockback 5, which means, because this is going from his right to his left, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She will be knocked down, and she will gain 2 bleed tokens. Cool. Well, that's the end of the monster's turn. So David gets to stand up. That's handy. So really the only thing to do here, let Max step up, swing on 6s. Cool. Good job, Max. Also these, whoops. These do need to be back on top. So there's really no point in Samantha attacking. I think we'll have David stop there. Not entirely sure what the Kingsman is doing. Actually, that would be bad. We'll have David stop there. All right, is what it is. Background of the Kingsman. Again, basic action. I don't think, I mean, he obviously can't step back. So normally they would kind of scoot around. But I don't think, because he's not full moving. No, I think it will move 1 space away. So he'll go here and then sweep, which is why I made sure David was out of range. Okay. One hit. Cool. And we're just going to have Max dodge that. Doesn't get his survival. Max is running low on survival. And then for his actual action, coup de grace. Oh, all survivors are doomed. Target a random knocked down survivor in range. I don't think that is anybody. Yeah. So if there are no knockdowns, because he's not within range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh, or is he? No. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Okay, we're good. Because if it was the sweep, she would have been within range, but now she just has to be within 2 spaces of him, and she is not. Whoo, that was close. So if he had been within range, full move towards target, and immediately suffer a severe head injury with -5. So we are playing a dangerous game. We don't want to spend our survival to encourage, but we also don't want to be knocked down. So next time we shuffle the AI deck, we're going to have to remember that's there. So instead, he's just going to perform his basic action, which again is just going to do the same thing as we did before. 2 hits, not great. And he's already dodged. Ugh. 3 damage to the head and the body for Max. Okay. So that's a light on the body and a heavy on the head. So just as an example, so all the other hit locations have light and heavy. Head has only heavy. So he will be knocked down from the heavy injury. But we survived. And it's back around to our turn, which means Anita will stand up. We don't have anybody to get the battle pressures off. So I think we just start with Samantha. She needs 7s. 1 hit, so that's a battle pressure. But nothing happens. Hit is canceled, but she's also not adjacent, so that's honestly fine. How are we doing on survival? So I'm going to have... I got it. Max can't be stuck here. So yeah, Anita's going to encourage him. Losing another survival. Max will stand back up. And he'll go here to attack. Or no, here to attack. Does it really matter? I don't think it really matters. There, here's fine. So looking for those 6s. 1 hit, which means we cycle through these and get the Regal Breastplate. Did not want that. I forgot that was the one that was there. I thought we put the dagger one there. Oh, poor Samantha. There's no opportunity for her to get out of the way. Whoopsie. Okay. Well, let's at least try to wound it. Looking for an 8. Get a crit. It does not have a crit location. But it is a wound. Let me... So it doesn't have a crit location, but does that still cancel the reflex? Allow me to consult the glossary on that one. Critical wound. Critical wounds are lucky blows. Always wound a monster, even if the wound attempt does not exceed the monster's toughness. Critical wound occurs when a wound roll results in a lantern 10 on a hit location with a critical wound effect. Yeah, so if there's no critical wound effect, nothing happens, unfortunately. Yeah, so unfortunately the reflex still goes off. That's unfortunate. All right, so Samantha's going to get punted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knocked down. Because he's going to go here. Right? 2 spaces directly away. And Max does have King Step, so he will just stay here to make sure he's kind of the primary target for anything. But now it's dagger in time. Oh, come on. All right, so just 1 hit would be great right now. Needs 7s. Not happening. And then Anita, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to be somewhere useful, and she'll headband. Okay, that's fine, I guess. And that's really bad. Yeah, so we're going to do hammer. I mean, they're both bad, but the other one would have been real bad. All right, so his turn, he'll basic action, which means he'll step back, sweep Maximilian. 3 hits. Oh my god. Body, legs, body. All right, well, let's remember to flip all this stuff back. So he'll dodge one of the bodies. Lose the survival. All right, well, that's Max's last survival. I don't think Max has gotten a single survival back from the Rawhide set. So 3 to the body, 3 to the legs. So that's a severe wound on the body and a severe wound on the legs. Ooh, Max. Not going well, bud. All right, we'll start with the legs. That's a 7. Torn muscle. Your quadriceps is ripped to shreds. You cannot dash until the showdown ends. Skip the next hunt. There ain't going to be a next hunt for you, buddy. Gain 1 bleeding token. So his dash is offline. And then here's the bad one. So we're going to make it this one fancy, because body, you're far more likely to die from a body wound than you are from a leg wound. 2. It's probably not great. The blow sends a bone fragment directly into your heart, killing you instantly. So we're gonna acanthus that one. Okay. Not the worst in the world, but now we get hammer. This is why I wasn't too worried about hammer. Closest knockdown survivor in range. It's Max. 6s, 3 hits. So before damage, he's going to lose all of his armor and whatever. He ain't got a lot of armor left, so that's why I wasn't super worried. But let's see what we roll. Body, body, body. So there's 3 more rolls on the severe injury table for his body. That's a 1. He's dead. Oh, buddy. Rip in pieces. So the good news. The good news is we have graves. So when a survivor dies during a hunt or showdown phase, we gain 2 endeavors. So we've got 2 endeavors for... All right, this is going to start going real bad real fast. Back around to our turn. Oh, and he was our king step guy too. All right, so I believe that means Samantha will stand up. And let's just have her shoot her bow, see what happens. Hitting on 7s. Yeah, that's about right. Can Anita get into range? 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have Anita go first. Do we want her to try to king step? No, we're gonna keep her 1 step back. I already picked up the dice, but I'll move her 1 step back. Hitting on 6s. That is 1 hit, which means she'll draw battle pressure. But again, she is not adjacent. And then David, why not? Let's move into the blind spot. You're going to get absolutely wrecked, but it is what it is. You will be hitting on 6s. Or not. Cool. All right, yep, let's just move along. Basic action, survivor in the blind spot. Yep, so he's going to... And then David's going to get wrecked on 4s. 2 hits. Waste and waste. All right, well, we'll dodge one of them. And then that brings him to a heavy wound on his waist, which means he is knocked down. That is 1 dodge. And then we get King's Grace. All threats in zone of death. So luckily, David is not a threat. In the order of the monster controller's choice, attach each target in the zone of death. Survivors with King Step may ignore this attack if the monster does not target any survivor's guard. So he's definitely going to hit Anita. So looking for those 6s. 1 hit. She has her dodge, and she's going to use it. Yeah, because there's no hit location she has that's going to be fun to hit right now. So she will get her survival back, though. That's handy. And that's the end of the monster's turn. So we will... no, but there's not much to update. There. I did 1 wound this entire fight. Yeah, we're getting our asses kicked here. All right. Might as well encourage David to stand up, I guess. I'll just have Samantha spend her survival. That's fine. So David's going to stand up. This is also going to go back here. We'll have Anita attack and do nothing. We'll have David attack. He'll stop here, I think is the right spot. One hit, so he will King Step. With a 6. Just as you start to follow the monster's subtle movements, the tip of the Kingsman's foot hooks your ankle. You are knocked down, gain 1 tempo token. So if I remember correctly, David actually had 1 tempo token, so that's a 7, but it's the same outcome. So he is knocked down, and he gains another tempo token. That's unfortunate. And all that's left is Samantha with a hit. So that's just... I don't know why I bothered. She probably should... she couldn't have done anything useful. That's fine. So we will basic again. So that's going to go like this. That is 1 hit. Oh, yeah. Well, she has her dodge back, but she will just dodge. So that happens. And she will get that survival back. Cool. And then next up, we've got Spinning Halberd. It's a mood. So first of all, draw another AI card. Kingsman deflects all incoming ranged attacks with its Lantern Halberd. The monster ignores hits and effects from ranged gear. So for the rest of the fight, our bow is useless. That's fun. And we draw another card. It's another mood. The Kingsman bends its knees and lowers its center of gravity. After the monster performs a basic action, move it directly back 3 spaces without turning. All right, so at least it's not drawing another card, but that's another thing we got to do. Oh, this just keeps getting out of hand. All right, end of the monster's turn. David will stand up. So I think what we'll do... Yeah, we'll have Anita stand here. Oh, that's going to be bad. Either way. All right, well, we'll have Anita stand here. Try to clear off some battle pressure. So she'll clear off one battle pressure. And then we'll have David go with 2 hits. So he's going to King Step again. He has 2 tempo tokens. With a 10. Okay, so he gains King Step as well. I'm sure that'll be helpful. Actually, that would be helpful if this fight wasn't already on the road to being very over. So let's see. Samantha does have a Founding Stone. 2 speed hitting on 7s. Why not? Or hitting on 6s for the blind spot. 1 hit. Cool. On the Regal Gauntlet. Would have been nice if we could have had David draw this one, but it is what it is. 50k. So, all right, cool, whatever. So she is strength 1 on the Founding Stone, strength 1 on her. So she's wounding on a 10. All right, cool. Not happening. Oh my. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the thing. All right, we're going to have to dash Anita. That's fine. So, Survivor in Blind Spot. That's going to be Samantha. We have an opportunity to dash. We will do so with Anita getting the survival back. Because I forgot the Kingsman's going to really start dancing around now. So he will go here. And probably kill Anita. 2 hits. To the hands and the head. She will dodge the head. Or not Anita, Samantha I meant. So use her last survival to dodge the head. And that's immediately a severe injury on her hands. That's a 3. That's probably not great. Gain 2 bleeding tokens. Okay. That's survivable. And then, because this thing is in play, now he will move directly back 3 spaces. Which is why we had to make sure Anita got out of the way. And now, for his actual action, hook and pull. Furthest threat in field of view in range. That's going to be David. All right, so it's somewhat straightforward. He'll just go here, because he can attack diagonally. Hitting on 4s. 3 hits. Cool. So David's probably just dead. Waist, legs, head. He'll dodge the head. So there's that, and that's spent. This should have come back. That one was already spent. So 3 damage to the waist and to the legs. So that's a severe to the waist and a severe to the legs. We'll start off with the legs. A 9. 2 bleeding tokens. Okay. And the waist. A 4. Intestinal prolapse. Your gut is gravely injured. You can no longer equip any gear on your waist, as it is too painful to wear. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain 1 bleeding token. So I forgot he has the Dry Acanthus. Um, so that should have triggered the first time around, if I'm remembering correctly. So that was just the one bleeding token he took. So for this one, he has the prolapse and one, so he'll get the bleed token back. Nifty. So he survived, which means now the monster will move back 2 spaces, and David will come with him. With another 1 damage to the body, which is actually okay for him. It's now becoming clear to me I should not have brought the skull helm, but oh well, too late. All right, so back around to our turn. Does Samantha get up? Yeah, Samantha gets up. Or no, she doesn't. So it's just Anita. All right, well, we can't leave David knocked down here, so Anita's going to encourage David. Losing the survival. Get up, David, we need you. So I think the thing to do here is bring Anita around here and attack with 2 hits, so that clears off 2 battle pressures with no king step, so that David can. Let's see if David could do something before he explodes into a mist. So looking at 6s, of course he can't. And that's that. So everybody's going to refresh their stuff. And we will basic action David. 1 hit. David has a survival, so he might as well dodge that one. And then also take those 3 steps back now. And draw hook and pull again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to target Anita because that's the smart thing to do. Two hits. Unfortunate. Head and body. It's pretty bad either way. We might as well dodge the head. David also spent his dodge. So taking 3 damage to the body brings her to a severe on the body. And this is probably just going to kill her. Oh, a 9. Okay. So 9 on the body. Collapsed lung. You can't catch a breath. Gain us -1 movement token and 1 bleeding token. Where is it? There it is. Let's flip the bleeding token. Nice. So it's -1 movement on her. That's suboptimal. But she lives. And then he will step back 3. Oh, wrong one. Step back 2. So 1, 2. And she will come along for the ride, taking 1 additional damage to the body. Cool. So we get to do that again. We'll do the fancy thing. That's an 8. Broken rib, so -1 permanent speed. This injury is permanent. Can be recorded multiple times. Gain 1 bleeding token. So Anita might just bleed out soon. I'll just grab a bunch of bleeding tokens. We're going to need them. All right. -1 permanent speed. That's bad. But that's the end of the monster's turn. We might as... We don't have any survival to stand her up. Okay. Although Samantha does stand up. All right. Well, let's bring David in. Hitting on 7s. Gets 2 hits. So it means 1, 2. And he can ignore those and go 1, 2. And then ignore that one and draw 1 more. Cool. That would be unfortunate. Well, it's going to happen. Well, no, this one can be crit. We might as well do the Regal Plume first. Nope. So for this one. So, David actually does have a little bit of strength to him. 1 on the dagger, and then 3 on himself, thanks to the Monster Tooth Necklace, giving him +2, plus his natural +1. So that's a +4 total. So he needs an 8 to wound. Still. Oh, that was close, but not enough. So this is going to happen again. Sorry, Samantha. Although David can follow, so I guess he will. Just because... Yeah, Atlantis. Here's the thing, like, I knew this was going to go bad, but it's going bad in, like, the worst way possible. It's just like, it's a slow death. Everybody is on the verge of death and just unwilling to die. Man literally too angry to die. Yeah, that's all we can do. So back around to the monster. First of all, he'll basic action. That is 2 hits on David. He'll get a dodge back, but he's definitely going to use it. Damage to the waist and the body. I guess it doesn't really matter. He'll dodge. Oh, he can't dodge. He's out of survival. So that's 2 severe wounds. We'll start with the waist. That's a 6. Destroy genitals. Poor guy. Cannot be nominated for Intimacy Story Event. This injury is permanent. Gain a random disorder. You are knocked down, gazing upwards. Gain 3 insanity and 1 bleeding token. I don't think any of that is going to matter. We'll give him the disorder anyway. He's very close to... Well, let's see if he survives the body before we go getting cards. 7. Ruptured spleen. Gain 2 bleeding tokens. David bleeds out. And then he will take 1, 2, 3 steps back, which, does that collide with Samantha? I don't think so. And then his next card... Oh, coup de grace! Random knockdown survivor in range. That's Samantha. Immediately suffer a severe head injury at -5. She does roll a 10. Intracranial hemorrhage. You can no longer use or gain any survival. She didn't have any. Gain 1 bleeding token. Here, have one of David's. He had plenty. Cedric is not in this fight. We sent in 4 nobodies because this fight was doomed from the start. Cedric is... We never left the settlement for this fight, so Cedric is like literally hiding behind a building watching this go down. He watched Maximilian get every bone in his body broken. He watched David bleed out slowly. Somehow Samantha got her head stepped on and managed to get away relatively unscathed. Okay, back around to our turn. Samantha gets to stand up, as does Anita. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anita is in range, so we might as well do nothing. You know what, Samantha? Go for it, girl. You can do it. 2 hits. Won't even bother because that's the end of the turn. So she does get to King Step. Let's just see what happens. With an 8, you sense a pattern and foresee the monster's attempt to trip you. At the last moment, you shift your balance, suffer 1 damage to the legs, and gain 1 tempo token. 1 damage to the legs brings her to heavy, and she gets knocked down. Oh, Samantha. Oh, boy. So back around to our guy. Survivor in blind spot. It's going to be Samantha. Doesn't have to be a threat. That is 1 hit. And even though she's knocked down, Samantha doesn't have any survival. That was 1 damage to the hands. Which, guess what? 3 damage to the hands. So that is, I think I might have marked some damage on the wrong person, but whatever. Another severe. That's a 2. Your vision fades along with the sight of your mangled, armless torso. It doesn't say she's... Yeah, die of shock. All right. That's... Samantha got her arms ripped off. Oh, yeah, I also... Here's the 2 endeavors from David dying. Here's 1. Just going to grab all of those. And he still gets a turn. Cleave, closest threat, in field of view, in range. It is. This game is brutal, but this fight is specifically designed to be extra brutal. And this is the reason that in future campaigns, unless we absolutely have to, we will never fight the Kingsman again. So there is no threat in field of view since Anita is in the blind spot currently. So he's going to guard. Which is somehow even worse. Ends his turn and gains plus 5 toughness. Bringing me up to 17. That's fine. Let's see if we can get Anita some King Step. Alright, she's going to King Step. She has 1 tempo token. Let's see if we can get her... Teach her to dance before she explodes into a pile of her component parts. That is a 6. Knocked down and gain 1 tempo token. Here, you can have one of David's too. In memoriam. Okay, back to our guy. That is 2 hits. So that is waist and legs. It's 2 more severe injury rolls. Legs, that's a 9. That's not bad. She's probably just going to bleed out at this point. Gain 2 bleeding tokens. That's enough to finish her off. The Kingsman was victorious. But we do get 2 more endeavors. Got 8 endeavors out of that. We exchanged 4 survivors for 8 endeavors. So thinking about it, I shouldn't have bothered bringing the dried acanthus. So I just wasted a bunch of those. How much fresh acanthus do I have? I can at least make 2 more, so it's not the end of the world, but really should have been thinking, what did he do? So what happens when we are defeated by the Kingsman? On defeat, the Kingsman rudely breaks something as it leaves the settlement. If the settlement innovated pottery, return it to the innovation deck. We have not innovated pottery. Well, yeah, you know he tricks you into going outside extra times. Okay. So since that was a special showdown, we skip a lot of the usual stuff because it's still the same year. That was just bonus. Update our death count. That's something we can certainly do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's also lay these poor people to rest. Oh, I forgot to mark them as dead. Oh no, we lost very badly. So I need to go get Max out of the box. I gotta make sure to check him off as dead. I dealt 1 of his 13 wounds. So we lost Maximilian. We lost Anita. We lost David. And we lost Samantha. They are placed in the box. Yes, yes. So this fight is essentially designed to be a TPK. Believe it or not, the TPK is the better outcome. So again, for any late arrivers, this year we had this event known as the Armored Strangers, where since we had 8 or more people in our settlement, the Kingsmen showed up to kill a bunch of people. Our options, we rolled on this table 5 times, mind you. -5 population, or survivor with the highest courage, which would have been both Zachary, I think? No, Cedric, which Cedric is expendable, but it also would have meant we lost Urza. That wasn't going to happen. We would have lost an innovation. The only good outcome, quote good, is this one. We never rolled a 10. So we have this option to resist at every point. So since we did not want any of these outcomes, we had to fight the Kingsmen earlier than we normally would have. So looking at our timeline, we would not normally encounter the Kingsmen for 3 more years. So we have 3 years to build up enough gear to handle that fight. So basically we threw away 4 subpar survivors in order to not have something worse happen. Yeah, they were fed to the machine. So we've got 8 endeavors to work with. We're running a little low on head count. So I think it's just time to try to make a bunch of babies. We're going to make 8 augury rolls. Do we have love juice? We also have 2 love juices. We're going to spend those. So we have 2 intimacy rolls and see how much more we can get. Is there anything... I would like to not lose those lion testes, but it is what it is if we do. So we are... That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. There it is. Yep, we did everything we could. So I know we have people with understanding. Who do we have with understanding? Leandros has 2. Maria has 1. 1. There we go, Urza. So Urza is the one who's going to be rolling on this table because she will get +1 to the roll. And we're going to do this 8 times. That's an intimacy. That's 3. That is gain a survival. So she'll be up at max. She'll go up to 5. Survival. Survival. Intimacy, so that is 4. Survival. Intimacy, that is 5. And 6. So we have 6 rolls on the intimacy table. Normally, I would have liked to have waited a little longer to do this, but now's honestly our best chance with those 8 endeavors we had coming in. So we do have survival of the fittest, which means we're rolling with disadvantage. So that is a 4. So that is +1 or a 3, right? Why did I give that a +1? Yeah. So the female survivor perishes with her child during birth. The settlement is cast in gloom. The male survivor mourns, gaining a random disorder and +3 insanity. That's unfortunate. Do we have anybody with a reroll available? Yes, Leandros will use his reroll. That's a 3 again. Okay, so we do lose somebody. We will lose Maria because Maria was already not doing great. But that means we get 1 endeavor back from Graves. So that was 1 of 6. That's another 3. Oh boy, this is going badly. Sonia, sorry. Well, Sonia might as well use her reroll before we do that. All right, that's an 8. Cool. We don't have bed yet. So +1 population, and the male and female survivors gain +10 survival each. Cool. So we'll put Sonia up to 5. And we'll say that was Idris. He'll go up to 5. And we get... Oh, did I put my pad away? 1 moment, please. People of the sun, people of the stars, squires. Yeah, so it's this one. It is +10, but currently our limit... Oh, that's the... Oh my goodness. I'm falling apart. Sorry. Give me 1 second there. Stars, sun. So that's this one. There we go. Is that the right one? Yes, that's the right one. Okay, so One baby. I'll deal with creating the new ones offline. So that was 2 out of 6. That's another 3. So I think that's the end for Sonia, unfortunately. This is going very poorly. Get another endeavor for it. So 3. Evelina will use her reroll. All right, cool. A 7. We get another baby. Evelina gets... So yes, they do say they gain plus 10, but we have a limit currently of 5. We can't go above 5. This is attempt number 4. A 7. Attempt number 5. A 6. That is, again, just a normal +1 population. All right, we have made up for the 4 we just killed, but we're also -2 at the moment. And then number 6. Oh, boy. Well, we have 3 more endeavors for more augury. Nope. Oh, I think that's a bad outcome. We lose something. I'll lose a fresh acanthus. Oh, yeah. But Urza does gain another understanding. And 1 more attempt at augury. That's a 5, which is a baby. So we lost 3 and gained 5. So we're +2 from all that. Overall, -2. From everything from including the fight. So that did not go super well. But it's done. All right. So moving on. Now we can actually do our hunt for this phase. So we're going to hunt another white lion because I'm still looking to try and get the leather worker online, which also means I'm looking for ammonia, which means the lion is the best place to get that right now. Lion we can absolutely handle. So give me just a few minutes. We're going to take a short break while I set everything up for the next fight, and I will see you all very shortly.